Today's daf is Maseches Nedarim, Daf Pei Daled. So we are at the top of the Amid, first word, first line. So says the Gemara. So Rava is asking Kasha of Nachman. Nachman just finished saying on the prior Amid, prior daf, that when a lady makes a neder and she says Kainim she'eni nena la briyos, she's not having enough from briyos, from people, creations, whatever, it does not include her husband. So Eisvei Rav Nachman. Rav asked her. So Mari de Chez reflecting Gemara. If you say like Rav Nachman that the Baal is not included in briyos, so Ibizah l'chayra, when she says in Tulan Anim Min Yehudim, so l'chayra also in Lashon Yehudim, she's not asked to her husband Tashmish. So Ibizah, it's not mistaver that her kavana was to ask herself on tashmish of other people. I guess tashmish we're talking about is tashamita, because obviously she's also in other people. Because she's Eishes Ish. So Elamai, what did she mean when she said in Tulam Na Yehudim tashmish? She didn't. I mean, actually tashmish meant she's Tulam Anim Yehudim, that she's asking herself from Paris of all Yehudim, of all Jews. So so what's the Isser Neder over here? It's talking about the Isser Neder Paris. So affecting Gemara Nidr in the Nefesh. That's in the Nefesh. Yafal Ala Olam. How come it says that it's not? He only made for his part because that's Minel Minah. L'chayr it's in the Nefesh. Minel to made for La Olam. That's what we said before. That's the difference between Nidr in the Nefesh and Nedarim Minel Minah. Zakti Gemara. So Elamai, what is Umar trying to say? So if it's very shver, if you learn that the Baal is not B'chlal Brias, because obviously you have some special guy in Tulim Yehudim, Mozayin the Baal is B'chlal Brias. The Raya not like Rav Nachman. Zakti Gemara, Eimalach, I'll tell you that Avada the Baal is not B'chlal Brias, but Shani Hacha, it's different. The din legabe the nidin of the Tulan Nimina Yehudim, the Muchra Mosa. It's Muchach. That the Lashon Neder, her Kavana is to ask herself in Tashmish of her husband, Dal Hatera Ka'asar Nafsha. So Zakti Gemara, that when she's saying in Tulanam Yehudim, it means that she's asking herself only on Tashmish. She only means her husband. Because with Stav Dal Hatera Ka'asar Nafsha, she's come to ask for something that without the Neder Rimutter, which is Tashmish of her husband. Because Tashmish of everybody else, it's us or you went out of Neder. So we're not going to say that that's what she means, because she's Eishes Ish. So we're not going to say that that's what she means when she's making the Neder. So Mozayin, then it means her husband. But however, if she asks on herself Paris of all Kalabrius, then if other husbands not including talking like Rav Nachman. Zakti Gemara weiter. Okay, there's a gears to the run, but we'll go past it. Let's go back there. So Zakti Gemara, the Mishnah said, a lady that made a neder, and she said, Kainim shani neder l'briyas, the halach is, Ichol lahanas b'leket shichu peah. She could have enough in leket shichu peah. In fact, the Gemara, but like Kani and Maiser Ani, what about Maiser Ani? She makes a neder, she also Maiser Ani should have the same concept. If she would take Maiser Ani, it's Master that, no, she's also in it. But Tali writes in fact in Gemara with Maiser Ani, the Bryce does say it's steer between the Bryce and the Mishnah. Amar of Yosef answered like Kasha. Hara b'lezer, hara banan. The Mishnah is going like the Rabbanan, and the Bryce is going like Rabbi Lezer. Explain the rest of the time. We're learning the Mishnah, the Mai, Parak Daled, Mishnah Gimel. The Gabi, somebody take boys Paris from Amaretz, that the Chacham were Choishish, that the Moicher did not separate Trumas from Maiseris. The Amaretz not separate Trumas from Maiseris like Lahalacha, and it's called the Mai. So Rabbi Lezer says that because it's Chashash, Chachamu Machayv L'Keach, the Mach B'Safik, Trumas Maiser Rishon, and Maiser Sheni. In the years that there's Naig Maiser Sheni. In the years Naig Maiser Ani, not only does it not have to take Paris, not only does it not have to be Mafish Paris Maiser Ani from Dmai, But he said also, Einam tzarich likor shem on ma'aser ani shel demai. You don't even have to declare shem on ma'aser sheni of a ma'aser ani of demai. Why? Because since these Paris was not hofresh from them, ma'aser ani, it doesn't have anything like tevel, which would have it in the Chayim of the Shemayim. So basically, Relez is saying Paris that you took from Amaretz, which is basically the Mai, you're afraid you didn't take Maisris properly. The halacha is you do not have to incur shame on shame Maiser Ani on the Mai, because since it was not Hofresh Maiser Ani, it's not a problem. You don't have the Chiv Misa. Chacham say Koire, that the Lekech does have to be Koire shame Maiser Ani on these Paris, and he has to be Kaveh Makim in the pile and say this is going to be Maiser Ani. But the Ein Tzarech Lahafresh, she doesn't have to be pile, take that part and take it away from the pile, put it somewhere else, which is called Afrasha. And the reason is because Chacham hold that Perish and you not Mafresh Ma'aser Ani, it does have a din like Tevel, not like Rebbe Lazar. And if you if you eat it, you are Chayim Misim De Shemayim. However, after you Kirish shame and you say this corner of the pile is Ma'aser Ani, then the din Tevel goes off of the Tevuah, and it's mutter to eat Ma'aser Ani itself. So it's not so chum in the Ma'aser Ani, but the Shaim is Machlekes Rabbanon Chum, Rabbanon Amachamer in the whole day of the Kirish shame. Rabbi Lezer says you do not have to even do that. So it's talking about Maila. What's the Machlekes? Lamanda Amar according to Rabbanon hold Rabbanon holds Sveika Toivos Safik of Ma'aser Ani. Asas a pairs with din Tevel, and it's also Bachiluk. Kostabar is Leitovis Hana. He holds that the owner of a Tevuah has a Toivos Hana on the Ma'aser Ani, that he give it to whichever Ani he wants. Because the din, there is this din that the Bailam has a schus to give Trumas and Ma'ases to whoever he wants. We learn out of Pasuk in my Yikra Parachav base Pasuk Das Vav, it says Asher Yerimu Hashem. So we learn out that the Bailam has the schus that he could give it to a truma to whoever he wants to. So since in the beginning of the pasuk it says v'leichala as kachi b'nei Yisrael, so we learn out that this schus is only by something that becomes tevel l'kri, which is shaykh to have a lashon chol on that if you're not mafresh. So mele the ones that hold that Ma'aser Ani makes the kri tevel, so mele the Bailam has that schus in giving that also. And came in the Islay Toivos Hana, since the Bailam has in Toivos Hana Ma'aser Ani, that's the Rabbanon hold. Memela, a lady that makes a neder kol abriyos, loy mahanya. She's not allowed to have enough for Ma'aser Ani, because if she's taking it, she's taking from this that a person's having enough of giving that Ma'aser. Since a person has the rights to that enough of giving the Ma'aser Ani, so if she asks herself a kol abriyos, she's taking that hana, which let's say belongs to her husband, and maybe she's over another. But Lamandam, according to Rabbi Lezer, holds that if you buy Paris of the Mai, you're not kir shame of Ma'aser Ani. Why? Because he holds a suffix of Ma'aser Ani is not metal the creates not tevel. V'chol shesveika ein toivel. Kumto is the pasuk lo yichalo is not going on that, or shayirimu is not set on it. Mela less Leitovis Hana. Mela the Bailam of the Ma'aser Ani does not have a schus in it. He has nothing in it. There's nothing in it for him. He has no schusim in it. Rather, whichever Ani is kol hakodim zacha, whichever poor person wants to take his head, it has a din hefker. So therefore, a lady at Nedarim from a Brius, she's allowed to have Ana from and take the Ma'aser Ani because she's not having Ana from the Baal Tfuah at all, because it's not connected to the Baal Tfuah, because Lezer holds that the Baal Tfuah has no schus in Ma'aser Ani, there's no Toivos Hana. It's rather like being Zeich of a Hefker. So that's Pshat in Gemara. And the Mishnah holds that a lady's not allowed to have a Hana for Ma'aser Ani, holds like the Chachamim that holds that there is Chusim of Toivos Hana in Ma'aser Ani, and the Brisa that's Matir, a lady to take from Ma'aser Ani, a wife, is because they hold like Rebbe Lezer that there is no din Toivos Hana Ma'aser Ani. Very geschmack. Very low Mishub something Gemara. So, Amar le Abaya. Abaya doesn't like Rav Yosef Shah. Abaya told Yosef, Abaya could tell you no. The Kuliyam, Masayir Blen Saycham hold Sveika Toivo. Safik Ma'aser Ani if you took Meiser Ani the Mai, it makes the whole pile Tevel Tevel. So what's the machlek? Is Rabbi Lezer Rabbanon B'Hakam Afik? This is what they're arguing on. Rabbi Lezer Savar Le'Nechshtu Amei Ha'aretz Al Meiser Ani. He holds that Amei Ha'aretz we're not afraid that we're not Meiser Ani. Came in the Ilu Mafker Nichse, because since if the Bailam wants not to be mafsid, he could just mafkers in the chasam, and he could be a ani b'shaka lehu less lepseda, and he could take the Meiser Ani for himself that would mafresh. For male less lepseda, there's no pseda. He wouldn't hesitate from being mafresh. Nobody's going to hold back mafresh, because if I want to become ani, if worst comes to worst, if I really want to keep it myself, I'll be mafker around the chasam, I'll just take it. So therefore, somebody that's kind of pairs from Amma Aretz, Dr. Belezer, you're not chayiv to mafresh Meiser Ani. Because I'm afraid, it's not something we'll say somebody's going to be afraid to do because it is Risvara. Rabbanon, however, sorry, nichse lemafker inish. A person is not mafker. The guy doesn't want to mafker the chasim. The mirtas delmo zachabon ishachrin is afraid. You know what? I'll play that shtick and be mafker in the chasim. But Lamaisi he'll be afraid. Maybe somebody will come along and actually take his expensive nechasim or whatever he has. So Helkach, therefore, since he does not have a schus, since he does not have a way to be zeichen the Meiser Ani, he will be mafresh. Nechshadu, he holds therefore amaratzim are nechshad on Meiser Ani. We're afraid they're not going to mafresh, and therefore whoever buys from amaratzim has a chiyuv to be mafresh. That's what the Rabbanon hold. So kumtois like loit abayis pshat, that everybody holds that the Bailam has a Tevis Hanoah Meiser Ani. The Gemara's Kasha Shver, because the Mishnah is mashma that a lady does not take from Meiser Ani, and the Bryce is mashma that the lady does take Meiser Ani. So we back to the steer. Say, how's Abaye going to answer? So tomorrow, Rava is going to answer the steer with the Bryce and the Mishnah. According to Abaye, you're going to have to say a different pshat. What? It's talking about, Rava says, by Meiser Ani, there's times that the Bailam has Tevis Hanoah, and there's times that the Bailam is not a Tevis Hanoah. It's not all the time the same that the Bailam has Tevis Hanoah. It says, Kan Meiser Ani Mischalek B'Sech HaBayis. The Mishnah is talking about that she can't have Hanoah for Meiser Ani. It's talking about Meiser Ani Mischalek B'Sech HaBayis. It's talking about in the winter when it's raining, when the Bailam brings in all the stuff to the house, that the rain should not ruin it. So the Bailam has Tevis Hanoah, and it's Chelek, the chsiva bein asina, because he's going to give it to these aniim that he wants to. The chsiva bein asina. It says a lashon asina in Devarim Perek Chavav Pasuk Yibei. It says Sata la Levi la Ger la Yosem ala Amana, and the Gemara in Chun Kuf Laman Aleph Beis says that wherever it says Nasina, the Bailam has Tevis Hanoah. Mishum Hachi Asali, and that's why Isha that makes the neder, and she asks her enough for previous, she's going to be also in the Meiser Ani, l'sanuye. To have enough from the Meiser Ani, because he's having enough from the Bailam, Tevis Hanoah. But Kan, so that's the Mishnah. Kan, the Bryce that's matir related to take Meiser Ani. What's that talking about? It's like Gemara Meiser Ani, I'm a schalik, b'sayich hagoras. It's talking about Meiser Ani that gets tail dois b'sayich hagoras in the garden. So it's in the summertime, it's warm, they're keeping it outside. In that case, they just leave it in the open fields, and it's mufker to whichever ani wants to take it. Came in the Chsiv Bey, since it says a lashon on that, v'hi nachta b'sharecha, it says in Devarim Perek Yudal Pasuk Ches, so it's mashma in that kind of chalaka of Meiser Ani, there is no Tevis Hanoah. Rather, he just leaves it out. Whoever wants, first come, first serve. Whoever wants to take it, he has no zechus of who to give that Meiser Ani. So therefore, the Bryce is talking about Charlotte, I knew the lady makes an neder, she's allowed to have a no, because in that case, where it's being the schalak b'sech hagronis, there is no Tevis Hanoah Bailam, memela she asks herself labriyos, she will be mutter, because it's as if she's being zeichel hefker. Very geschmack. Zok the Heilig Gemara weiter. The Mishnah says, Kaihanim Leviim Nedarim, she answers herself, Kaihanim Leviim Nedarim. So what did the Mishnah say? Let's take a step back to the Mishnah. If she said, Kaihanim Leviim, she asked her Kaihanim Leviim on herself, Nedarim, that they can't have enough from her. Even so, the Mishnah said, the Kahanim Levim Yitlu, they could take the Trumas Meiser from her al karchoy, which is not aser. Okay. But then the Mishnah says Kahanim Elu, then Yitlu Achim, other Kahanim Levim have to take it. Okay, there's a fact in Gemara from this that the Mishnah says that the Kahanim Levim take their Truma al karchoy, even though she asked on everyone to have a no. Alma, you see that Tovis Hano, that he has in these matanos, that he could give Trumas Meiser whoever he wants. Eina Mamin, you see it's not considered any actual money, and therefore them taking is not considered Hana Mominus from whoever made the Neder, which is late in this case. So I was very affecting Gemara, Ema Seif, and the Seif Mission says Kahanim Elu, she says these specific Kahanim Elu Nedali, then Yitlu Gacherem, other Kahanim have to take the Trumas and Meisers, Avalahani, but to these, as she asked them, Loi, affecting more almost Tevis Hana is mommy. You see from this, why can't these the Kahanim take? Masha, they're having a no from her, and it's a mama's thing Hana, and that's why it's Aser, because she made a Neder. So L'chaira, it's a steer between the Reish and the Seifa. Amar of Hoshi answered like Kasha. The Seifa is talking about Rebbe. It's going to sheet this Rebbe that holds that Tovis Hana is Mammon. It's going to sheet this Rebbe that holds Tovis Hana is Mammon. The Reish is going to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda that says Tovis Hana ain't a Mammon. Zakti Gemara of Hoshi is going to bring a raya. What's it talking about? How do you know? The Tanya learned the Raisa. Hagoynev Tivloi. Somebody steals tevel, which is tfur, that he was not hofresh from it, truma meiser, shalchaver, he steals it from his friend, v'acholoi, and the ganim eats it. The halacha is, what's the halacha if he eats tevel from his friend? The shalom le, the ganim pays the mei tevel, he pays the value of the tevel, even though the bailim could have been mafresh from a truma meiser and give it to kahanim. Divrei Rebbe, that's what Rebbe holds. The ganim pays the value of the tevel. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Omer, however, Rabbi Yosef Yehuda argues and he says, Ein Mishalom Ela Demei Chulun Shabai. He does not pay the value of Trumas and Meiser that was part of this whole pile. Only he pays the value of the Chulun that's in it. So the Trumas and Meiser he would have to take off and give to Koyens, the rest he pays, the remainder. Because the Trumas and Meiser would have not been in the Rishus of the Bailam anyway. Says Dr. Vaishi, you see from this, My Lab HaKamifliki. Aren't they arguing in this Nakuda, the Rebbe Sabar Tevis? No, Rebbe that says that you pay the value of the whole entire pile because he holds Tevis. No, the Bailam has a schus in it and it's considered Mammon, and therefore since the Bailam had a schus, so it's as if the Ganav stole even that schus from the Bailam, so the Ganav has to pay the value of the whole pile, including the Trumas and Meises that would to be been Hufrash, she has to pay everything to the Nignav. Rabbi Yosef to the Bailam. Rabbi Yosef who the Sabar Tevis and in a moment, and therefore the Gan would not pay only the chelik of Chulin in the Tfur. Very Geshmak Machlekes. That's the raya from the Brisa.